Support for this show, Politics Done Right, comes from politicsdoneright.com, publishers of How to Make America Utopia, Take Away the Economy from Those Who Rigged It, As I See It, Class Warfare, The Only Resort to Right-Wing Doom, It's Worth It, How to Talk to Your Right-Wing Relatives, Friends, and Neighbors, and other books written by Egberto, Willies. Welcome to Politics Done Right. My name is Egberto, Willies, your host. Good morning, Houston. Good morning, Harris County. Good morning to the great state of Texas. Good morning to the United States of America. Good morning to the entire world receiving our signals via the magic of El Internet, formerly known as the ARPANET, created by whom? We the people, now controlled too often by the billionaires, something that we have got to mitigate, something we've got to mitigate, something that we will mitigate, something that we will make sure everyone knows that, yes, they are already empowered to do that if we will just have faith in ourselves, faith in what we know, and do it. But anyway, before we get into some serious stuff, let's move it on to the geniuses in el estudio, Senor Jacques Van Weber and Mayana.
Good morning, Mayana. How are you?
I'm good.
Good morning. Good morning, Egberto.
Good morning. We're thinking about you at the same time.
Yeah, we're going to have a great show today. What's up, my dear brother Jack? I know that you have something special to tell us, right?
No, not really. Just I'm going to do your headlines. The only thing I saw this morning was I looked at the boat that they bombed the other day, and it was another water taxi. Rows of people in it. When
they said kill them all, that one.
Yeah.
All right. The show confronts the widening reach of authoritarian politics, tracing a direct line from Trump's assault on truth at home to the Trump Starmer drug price scheme shaking Britain's National Health Service. By unpacking Gene Flanagan's reporting on Trump's fake sedition claims, retaliatory prosecution obsession, and reckless Venezuelan rhetoric, and pairing it with the NHS, the National Health Service scandal, this conversation exposes a dangerous pattern. Leaders who distort reality to consolidate power and funnel wealth upward while ordinary people pay the price. Been going on for a long time, hadn't it, Egberto?
It's been going on for a long time, and something. The arch of something moves in one direction, and we are going to mitigate this. A lot of times, what these people in power want us to believe is things are inevitable. Nothing in this world is inevitable. Even an asteroid that's currently on the path to hit the Earth is not inevitable. Nothing.
You know what I noticed?
Tell me.
You know what I noticed, Egberto, is that when you told me to hold on, to have a little faith, don't kind of make it seem as if they won, we still have power. And as I see the power growing of the people, and there is a lot of different things that are going on, ICE is, as horrible as they are, in some places they're actually kind of backing off and calming themselves down. I was about to say something. Calming themselves down, So, I mean, even though it's still a lot, it's a little less,
right?
So it's happening.
Let me tell you something, Mayana. It's people power. They ran them out of New York a couple of days ago. They ran them out of New York because when the New Yorkers saw what they were doing, they surrounded. You see, the thing about it is, you have to control people's minds, right? To make them believe you have more power, but you can never have more power than the people. I tell you something about China, and the reason I do this is we look at China as a totalitarian government, and where people don't have rights and all that kind of stuff, right? That's how we envision China over here from the West, right? And then you get a whole lot of people. And by the way, let me give you two things.
You think about the average American citizen, right? The average American citizen is apathetic. They don't care about politics. They don't care about any of that. They just want to exist. They just want to get stuff done, right? And we are trying, because we are a democracy, we are trying to tell all Americans that you have a right in this country to determine what this country is going to look like, or how is this country going to take care of you, right? And we have a hard time getting people to engage because they are kind of, I don't matter.
Overwhelmed.
Overwhelmed. Thank you. That's the right word. Overwhelmed.
Yeah. Everybody has anxiety. Everybody's overwhelmed. They have, no job, 2 jobs, 3 jobs, no health care.
Right. Okay. I'm glad you said it. Exactly. But check this out. But then we're a democracy. We're a democracy. We want to show the world that democracy works. Now, China is an authoritarian regime. No doubt about it. The people can't really speak up against the government. The people can't speak up and say things. But guess what is also true? There's a pact between the governed and the government. The governed and the government. You are in China. You go to all the major cities and you see beauty, you see modernity, you see bullet trains, you see all the things that we think one would want and show that can be done in a democracy. You actually seeing it take effect in China. The people in China have healthcare. All the people have in the cities jobs, in the rural areas. They have communes or you take a look.
A place to live.
Right. I am not advocate. I am a strong believer in democracy that works. Right. And a democracy that works mean people existing. I believe in a social democracy, like similar to what you would have in Denmark, etc., where people have healthcare, childcare, all these things we don't have in our purported to be the best democracy on the planet. Now, the pact between China and its people is we make sure that you have a life. If you want to be an engineer, if you want to be a lawyer, if you want to even get rich, you can get rich. Don't mess with the government. We, the ruling class, make sure that the platform is there for even a little bit of capitalism to work in China. But we take care of your health, etc. And then overseas, we get our way not by bombing or scaring you. We get our way by investing in you. Belts and roads. We invest and look. Neither
it's a soft way of going into a country and like getting a little place to stay.
Right.
Getting a little power there.
Right.
But make no mistake, it is a little power they're getting it.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. But the thing about it is we exert it, and if you don't do it, we bomb you. If Venezuela, what right do we have in Venezuela? Yesterday, Trump said the Venezuelan airspace is closed. The United States of America, in a sovereign country, another sovereign country, says your airspace is closed. I mean, when we do things like that, I would like for some of us to make believe we are on the other side, the receipt of that. When we had Jim Crow laws, could a democracy in Latin America come and say, Jim Crow, you are harming your people. We are going to sanction you. If you don't stop harming people with Jim Crow laws, we're going to attack you. If you don't stop harming people with slavery, if you don't stop harming people, I mean, I'm not even talking about the 1800s. I'm talking about 19 something. I'm talking about 2000 something. Think about other countries saying you are treating your people wrongly. And as such, we demand that you change or we close down your airspace. Americans would say, you don't have the right to do that. But we do that. Venezuela. We are telling Venezuela, hey, do it our way. We shut down your airspace or we kill a lot of people on boats to kind of show you that we can. We bring in the largest aircraft carrier on the planet into the Caribbean Sea to show you we have the power right off of Trinidad. I mean, when you look at it from an objective point of view, you can't help but ask yourself to what end and who gave you the right or the power to do so. You know, I was on Arnie Erneson's show, and, you know, before the show started, she said, what is our topics? What do each of the panelists want to discuss? And I said, manifest destiny. And the whole panel got shocked, right? Because why are you talking about manifest destiny? Then I said, Venezuela. And everybody said, okay, I get it. Manifest destiny for all, you know, forget about what you learn in the textbooks about manifest destiny. It was just an attempt to create a license to take, kill, maim, and murder. That's all it was. But you won't read that in the textbooks. You won't read that because, again, what the intent is to make one believe that there was some moral reason to do the things that we did. In my Thanksgiving notice, I said, what we need to do is simply atone. There's no country that is that is pure. None whatsoever is pure. Not even my little Panama is pure. No country is pure. What countries can do is accept what they've done and atone for it. And that's what we should do, but that's not what we do. We double down. Donald Trump has been, from an international standpoint, he has made America weak. He has turned America. Everything that we preach about democracy, everything that we preach about morality, all of that is out the door. That this guy is about to pardon an Honduran former president who was exporting tons of cocaine, not pounds, tons of cocaine to the United States, making statements, paraphrasing, that he wanted to pump this into the blood of every American. And this is a guy Donald Trump is about to give a pardon to. He pardoned all the January 6th folk. A presidency that is pardoning thugs, criminals, killers, and you name it. What does that tell you about who we are? And that you still have people that are so ill-informed that they can support something like this. Well, Mayana and Jack, that's why we are part of programs like this. Because a lot of what I'm saying, a lot of folks don't think about it, or they don't believe it's happening until it is proven to them. But we are in a very, and I don't, it is like what I told, I was on WBAI's program yesterday, and it's like what I told them. I said, I'm out of the game of blaming all these people out there, because there is something more profound and deeper that has these people believing what they believe. And this morning, my daughter, let's see if I can find it. I think I can, and I didn't prepare to put it on, but I want to put it on because it is something that my daughter woke up early before she go to teach, right? And she said, "Dad, did you see what I sent you? A text that she sent." And I'm like, "No." She said, "Watch this ad." And this is about Medicare Advantage, okay? But I want you all to listen to this ad. And for those of you that are on, that can watch it, watch this ad. And the reason why, folks, is because when I talk about our brothers and sisters being ill-informed, when I talk about our brothers and sisters being mentally manipulated, this ad is clear and present. I think I can get it played. If I don't, forgive me, but I think I can do it. I think I can. Let me cover my face with the screen and play this, and then I'll talk about it. Listen to this ad.
Options for Freddie.
No, not Freddie. Eddie.
When did healthcare lose its heart? When did Medicare Advantage companies start putting profits before people? We believe it shouldn't have to be this way.
This medication isn't covered by your insurance.
This overwhelming. This confusing.
I was told it was covered.
Let's try that again. Freddie.
This frustrating.
I really need this medication.
Healthcare in retirement doesn't always look like it's advertised. The reality is, health insurance is broken. And while other plans won't tell you that, we will. Because we created Scan Health Plan to fight for your health, to protect your independence, to serve you, not profits. And we won't stop. Not until you have the coverage you need, the coverage you deserve. We created Scan for you.
Medicare.
Okay, notice what they said. We created Scan for you. Let me tell you why my daughter sent me that ad. My daughter sent me that ad because the implication was they're telling you the truth. Medicare Advantage is bad. Medicare Advantage is a fraud. That is what they're seeming to tell you right there. But that is a Medicare Advantage ad. That is a Medicare Advantage ad. They are using the fact that Medicare Advantage is a fraud and bad to create an ad that sends you to somewhere that further tells you what Medicare Advantage plans to buy. The trickery, the mockery, the evil within advertising. And politicians do the same. How can somebody believe in Trump? How can somebody believe in all these things? They are manipulating your minds. We know now, most people know now that Medicare Advantage is a fraud, that it's bad. Many people have lived it. Right? So what do we get? We get the Medicare Advantage companies to create a nonprofit that goes ahead and create a program called SCAN and then gives you a list of Medicare Advantage programs they approve of for you to go ahead and go into. Talk about smart and evil. Talk about smart and evil. Mayana and Jack, that is what we have to deal with. I can't sit back and blame rural America and say, oh, those people are dumb. I can't sit back and blame all these folks and say, oh, you guys are so dumb. We are tired. We are working. We look at ads, and these ads can hit the right buttons and fool us if you are not looking at it with a critical eye. Like my daughter, what my daughter wanted to say, my daughter looked into it and she wanted to see if I saw the scam right off the bat. So she didn't say anything. She came into the studio this morning and she said, Dad, did you see the ad that I sent you? You know, they really know healthcare is really screwed up in the country, huh? And then I looked at her and I said, babe, that is a Medicare Advantage ad trying to fool people into supporting Medicare Advantage. She said, I know. I wanted to see if you got it. I can't blame America and call all our people that are voting for Donald Trump dumb. Or I can say they're ill-informed. I can say all of that because ads like that is what these people are seeing. Fox News is a master of doing these things. People have healthcare problems, so they have you worrying about trans, something that is less than 1% of the population. Not that it should matter, but that's what they want you to worry about. You don't have health insurance. They want you to worry about immigration, even though we depend on the immigrants more so than the immigrants depend on us. That's what they want you to worry about. Smoke and mirrors, lies, deception. Our people that vote against their interests aren't stupid. They're ill-informed, and there's a lot of psychology that use their own personality, use their own prejudices to have them vote the way they do. It's all done. The Powell memo in action. It's all about controlling one's mind. Folks, I have, as I get older, my empathy has continued to grow for many who sit back and say, why? Why do you even spend your time trying to talk to these people? That is why. This ad is why. We have to counter this ad. We have to be better than these evil characters. We have to be better and more persistent than these evil characters. We must be. We must be our brother's keeper. We must be. Johnny, line 1. Johnny, you're on. Johnny, we're having some problems. I think you may be on an internet phone and you have connectivity issues. Call back. Try to get into a position and call back. And then I will talk to you, my brother Johnny. Let's go to Jimmy. Come on in, Jimmy.
Hi, Egberto. This morning on the news, it said that 3 companies are suing the Trump administration over his illegal tariffs. Costco, Revlon, and Kawasaki Motorcycle Company are suing, and they want a refund on these illegal tariffs. Tariffs are a tax, and that is the job of Congress, not one person, Donald Trump. He does not have the right to levy tariffs all over the world like he's been doing. And the case is going before the Supreme Court, and they are fast-tracking it, and they may make a ruling by the end of the year. So I hope they shut him down. One person should not have that power to tax like he's doing with these tariffs all over the world.
I mean, you're absolutely right, Jimmy. And, it's also a very small company that Trump's tariffs is about to put out of business, that also one of the people that are suing the administration. Little company. So you're absolutely right. Donald Trump has no right to do what he's doing. And we'll see if the Supreme Court remember the Constitution. And that will tell us a whole lot. And yes, if the Supreme Court's rule in the favor of the people, the government will have to pay back by the time the Supreme Court rule, Trump would have likely collected probably $500 billion, if not more, money, and all of that money will have to be refunded. Absolutely so. Anything else, Jimmy?
That's all, yeah. I was thinking all along, one man should not have that power to raise and lower tariffs on these countries all over the world. That's too much power for one person. That's a job for Congress, and the courts should definitely shut him down on that.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Jimmy. You have a wonderful rest of your day, sir.
Thank you, Egberto. Have a wonderful day yourself.
Thank you, sir. All right, let's go to Michael, line number 2. Come on in, Michael.
Hey, I only have a couple of minutes because I'm very busy this morning. Very, very busy. The next thing I expect to hear from Egberto and your show regarding Medicare Advantage is for a full pardon of Luigi Mangione because he was somehow conned by Medicare Advantage plans and he had to go and do his destiny and kill him. I'm waiting for it. That's the next step. See, next step. Just go on ahead. He's a good guy.
Well, I mean, look, I don't know what you're trying to say, my brother Michael, but what I'd like to tell you is everything that I put out here is well studied and researched. I also understand things like Stockholm syndrome. I also understand how propaganda works, etc., etc., etc. So I don't know where you're coming from exactly, but I do my homework. Let's go to Brother Ogden. Come on, Ogden.
Hello?
Yes, come on in.
Okay. I was just thinking about what you were saying about the Voting Rights Act.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
From yesterday. I really like the one part about facing this head on.
Mm-hmm.
What might be the end of it. But I kind of disagree a bit on how we attract new voters when that's going to be a necessity for us.
Well, let me just say this. Yeah, for those who don't listen to the 3:00 show, on the 3:00 show, I pretty much said I think the VRA is dead. I think Roberts have been hinting for a long time that the Voting Rights Act is going to be dismantled, and I think that's what they're going to do. So I think what we have to do is prepare for that. Now, as far as how we get new voters, let me just tell you, Ogden, my guess is probably as good as yours, and I am all ready to be informed. I think if I remember you called into our 3:00 show before, and I think you're also a Gen Z or a millennial. I'm ready to learn from guys like you who will tell me what we need to do to start attracting non-voters and other voters. The one thing I'm not going to go in and say is like, I know what we need to do. I'm ready to learn. So talk to me.
I appreciate that attitude. I have the exact same attitude myself. So, I could be wrong and you could be right here. But what I think might be like the necessary and dirty work to do is to really talk about boldly race and like these we need to call out that these racist institutions have been here for way too long and need to be restructured into something different. I think.
Go ahead. No, please continue.
I just think that if, I get why some might not want to talk about it. It's uncomfortable for some people, but it is just too important to remain silent about.
And I first of all, I agree with you. Let me just tell you, I do a lot of talking, as you know, and I talk in front of many organizations, and I am not shy about talking about race because, first of all, I always make sure that I talk from a position not of judgment, but from a position of understanding, right? We are reared how we are reared.
Yeah.
So I agree with you. The problem is, it's not an easy thing for a lot of people to do, right? It's not, I don't believe in race proper, but I know we are in a racialized society. And that gives me a little, LBW, have a good one going off to work. Professora is in the house. She has to go off to work. But I do well speaking about race because I have a way of being able to make it non-confrontational and not to make the subject, whoever I'm talking to, have the belief that somehow I am trying to judge in these one-on-one or one to a few conversations. But it's not an easy thing. And that's why I think you would have heard me on the 3:00 show concentrate more on economics, But I tell you, I am with you. Actually, not I'm with you. I agree with you that that's something that we have to get on the table as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
No. If you have something else to say it, Ogden, please.
Oh, well, okay. This might be controversial, but I think race might be more motivating for these racist people than just the economic stuff.
Okay, and we and those are things that we can test, right? So we ought to test them because and that's what we probably should do. Test to see what it is that's going to get the job done, and then we go out there and do it. But Ogden, I got some other calls, so I mean, I want to thank you for your for bringing that up. Very important. Thank you, my brother. Let's talk at 3:00 if you listen. You too, brother. Let's go to Bobby. Come on in, Bobby.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
The things I wanted to talk about this morning is just there's three things. First of all, with pardoning the Honduran president, I mean, I don't see how we could possibly messing with Venezuela when we have a guy who's imported tons of cocaine, and we're like, oh, well, he got a bad rap. That was, Biden didn't like him, and he's a president. He's a little, he should have some kind of privilege against all this. This is, it just doesn't make sense. The next thing I wanted to talk about was, have you heard the term K economy?
Oh, that's what we're in right now. Absolutely. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I hadn't heard that term. It's basically like our economy is like a K, where the upper percent has a great economy and the lower people, the working class, are going down. And that is exactly what has historically caused internal turmoil and countries in the past. They lead to their ultimate demise. They crumble from within because of the disparity between the haves and the have-nots, and eventually it just crumbles.
Right. And let me just say, before you go to the third one, because I want the audience to understand this K thing, the reason why the numbers look good is because something like the top 10% are doing more than 50% of the spending. Think about it. The top 10% are doing more than 50% of the spending. So the bottom 90% have only 50% to do, right? So the economy looks a lot more robust than it really is. It is, but 10% of America is 30-something million people. So when you see success on TV, there are 33 million people to choose from. So most people look like they're in the doldrums, but they see a different picture on TV because there's a lot of people doing well. Continue, sir.
Okay, and with your thing on Medicare Advantage, I was talking to my wife last night about it. I was telling her how you're against it, and she's like, "Oh, that's right, you should be against it." And I asked her, "Well, what's your experience?" Because she works in the field. She's like, "When people come in with Medicaid Advantage, the hospital doesn't even want to deal with them because they realize that they're dealing with a bunch of CEOs that aren't going to want to pay for anything." She said, when you're on regular Medicaid, they're happy to take you, though. And she's a therapist. She said, if you're on Medicaid Advantage, you have surgery, and you need some kind of therapy to rehabilitate yourself, you're automatically denied on Advantage. She's like, they just never do it. She goes, but if you're on Medicaid, then you can get all of that aftercare.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's all I wanted to mention too.
Thank you very much, my brother. I appreciate your call. All right, let's go to Johnny. Let's see if Johnny's phone works right now. Brother Johnny, how you doing?
I'm calling you from a so-called smartphone.
All right, talk to me from your smartphone.
I will ignore my smartphone talking back to me with my own voice, trying to trick me into thinking that I'm the AI.
All right, talk to me, brother.
So, I think the way that we can counter that deceptive ad you just played is for us to make a mashup of that ad with Donald Trump himself from his campaign from the first time around in 2016. 2014 through 2015, when he said he was rich, he would work for free, and he imitated all of Bernie's, or most of Bernie's economic populist talking points. Because now, enough people are aware that he's a scumbag lawyer. So, you point out that the Medicare Advantage people are using the same tactics.
Yes, exactly. The same tactics, and that's why. Let me just say this, Johnny. We had a
robot is killing me.
I got you. The caller earlier said he's waiting for me to justify what Mangione has done, based on being able to convince them with ads or not. That is far from the truth. Look, I don't justify anybody killing anybody, but I tell you one thing that I can understand, and that is what the previous caller said, and that is when you have systems like K economies and that sort of stuff, people start to react. Because when people start to believe they have nothing to lose, One of the other things that I always tell people is, think about it. Being rich has nothing to do with being smart. Because a smart rich person would realize, after I've reached a certain amount of money, the marginal propensity for me to do or attain more or live a better life is not there. The lifestyle between a billionaire and a 10 billionaire is not different. So at that point, one is using an economic system that harms others for one's own vanity. When you reach a certain level of wealth, there is no more that you can do to feel better, to get more, to get what you want. There's just so much food you can eat, so many cars you can drive, so many airplanes you can have. And that doesn't take $1 billion. So there's something fundamentally psychologically wrong with people who pay politicians not to redistribute with taxes, that is, what they have, what I call their ill-gotten gains. And the mentality, that mentality is, I think, is not only taught, but I actually think it's a disease that is triggered by this thing we teach called capitalism. I think capitalism is a trigger of the disease of those people who just can't get enough, create financial instruments that take away from the rest. And the rest are just, people always, I don't remember if you remember Gecko in Wall Street. Gecko talks about greed is good, and greed is what makes this country go around. And then you look at other countries that have generated physicists, engineers, and everything else, and they don't all suffer from the sickness that many in this country do. Greed is not good. And most people are not greedy. Most people just want to be satiated. Most people want to be satiated. Yeah, I love Uju says morning, bingo, even Scott Galloway, one of them even said the same thing. Lifestyle, 1 billion versus 5 billion. Yeah, you can't see the difference. There's a point it becomes simply obscene. It becomes simply obscene. Hey, I haven't heard from my brother in a while. Patrick, come on in. Patrick, you're on.
Hey, good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, I can.
Okay, you pretty much said it, but I'd like to summarize it, make it a little more concise.
Please do.
We wouldn't be talking whether or not Mangione is justified if we hadn't already been justifying CEOs buying ranches by denying us health care.
Yeah, wow, that nails it. But you summarize it. Now let me summarize your summary, but I want to be careful in the way I say this, Patrick. What healthcare companies do? Murder many. That's it. Healthcare companies' pathology is that they murder many. But it so happens we classify their form of murder as legal. When they rightfully deny a service, that's murder. Let's go a bit further. Our Texas legislature is committing murder. That there is Medicare, the Medicaid expansion to the Affordable Care Act is available to Texas for use. The first 3 years costed Texas $0. Subsequently, it costs 10% of whatever the charges are for Medicaid. And that Texas said no to that means Texas died unnecessarily. It is murder. But we decide what we are going to call murder. What Mangione did was murder that all of us could see. What the CEO of these companies do is abstracted murder. What I call capitalism very often is the abstraction of evil. The abstraction of evil because you don't see it. For it to survive, you don't see what has to go on in the mines of Africa. You don't see what has to go on in the fields of Saudi Arabia. You don't see what has to go on in the farmland in Central America, South America. You don't see that. When we go to our HEB stores or where we go to our Kroger's or where we go to our stores, we see beautiful plums. We see beautiful avocados. We see beautiful meat. We go to the stores. We see beautiful things. Capitalism abstracted how those things got there. Go ahead, Patrick.
Well, that was pretty much my summary, but yes, we're in a system that a stockholder makes money by letting people die.
Exactly. Thank you, my brother. Patrick, you have a great one. And I'm going to close us out with this, with the actual topic of the show today. That, again, all of you from Jack to Mayana to our beautiful audience, hijack what we're going to talk about, but I love you for that. The title of the show, Jack pointed that out in the beginning, but one of the things that I'm not going to play the video that I did at WBAI talking about the two issues, both Comey as well as the pirates that Hexeth has become. But I want to show you what Trump is doing overseas that will have an impact on us. Donald Trump is talking about wanting to get at the drug companies. They are overcharging us and they're doing all these bad things. Welcome aboard. I'm seeing your messages, Glenn, Ryan. I hear you, brother. Now, he wants to get at these bad people, the drug companies, right? I want to read you a little something here. We are being held ransom is a title. Trump Starmer deal would force NHS to pay more for medicines. NHS is a national health service of Great Britain. It's a Medicare for all system. Everything is covered. In England, you don't have to worry about going bankrupt from healthcare, right? Their system is a bit more antiquated than, let's say, the Canadian system. The Canadian system isn't as completely engulfing as the British system. To put it bluntly, which I prefer, I would prefer a system that is completely run. We'll go into that another time. But one British lawmaker condemned the agreement as Trump's shakedown of the NHS. And here's what it says. The government of British Prime Minister Keir Starmer faced swift backlash on Monday after the Trump administration announced a deal under which the United Kingdom Prize National Health Service would pay higher prices for new medicines in exchange for tariff exemptions. In other words, a payoff to the drug companies. If you want our tariffs lifted, you have to pay more for the drugs you buy from American drug companies. The agreement in principle outlined in a statement by the Office of the United States Trade Representative was seen by UK lawmakers and advocacy group as gross capitulation to US President Donald Trump and the pharmaceutical industry that would harm the NHS and British patients for years to come. Remember, what these countries do sensibly is they say, we are not going to pay those high prices for those drugs that, first of all, the American population, the taxpayers, actually are the ones who developed the precursors to those darn drugs. We're not going to pay for your CEO to have mansions and inordinate wealth. So this is what we're willing to pay for the drugs. Take it or leave it. These guys make so much money. Of course, they take it. Giving into big pharma demands to hike the price of medicine spells disaster for our NHS and for the lives of ordinary people, said Global Justice Now, a UK-based group. We are being held to ransom. Our government must stand up to big pharma and for our NHS by reversing course. Under the 3-year deal, the NHS would boost the net price it pays for new pharmaceutical drugs, many of them emerged by 25%. In other words, a relative inflation rate of 8%, people. They're saying, let's have an inflation rate of 8%. I mean, it's ridiculous. Under the 3-year deal, the NHS would boost by 25%. It'll cost England, a small country relative to ours, £3 billion. Helen Morgan, the Liberal Democrat Prime Minister for North Shore, denounced the new agreement as a Trump shakedown of the NHS. As evidence, she pointed out the U.S. Health and Human Services Secretary Robert Kennedy's celebration of the bilateral deal. It cannot go ahead, said Morgan. RFK Jr. has put in black and white. Trump demanded these pay rises to put America first, and our government rolled over. Patients stuck on crammed hospital corridors or unable to get an ambulance won't forget it. The British people didn't vote for this, Morgan added. The government must put this agreement to a vote in Parliament. Andrew Hill, a visiting health economics researcher at the University of Liverpool, similarly criticized the deal. The UK hasn't benefited from this at all, but we are having to pay all this extra money. More money spent on drugs mean less money spent on ambulances, doctors, nurses, health intervention. In addition to facing the threat of Trump tariffs, the UK government was under pressure from the powerful pharmaceutical industry to jack up NHS drug spending. The Guardian reported in September that big pharmaceutical companies have ditched or paused nearly $2 billion in planned UK investments so far, as the firms accuse the government of not spending enough on new medicines. Look, understand what's going on here. I want all of you to understand what's going on here. America is using the pretext to that, or rather, a lot of folks are saying, look, you know what? If the drug companies are ripping Americans off by these overpriced drugs that cost orders of magnitudes more than it costs to manufacture, something that they didn't even develop on their own. Our taxpayer dollars developed it. But they're charging us an arm and a leg. So a lot of people are saying, well, we'll go overseas and buy the drugs. So people go to Canada, England, Mexico to get these drugs. What Trump is doing at the back end, remember what I talk about, the abstraction of capitalism. The abstraction of capitalism. Trump is not going to say you can't buy the drugs on the outside. Look at what he's doing. He's making sure
that the drug prices in those countries go up. And if those countries grow up, then when you try to go buy the drugs on the outside and then try to bring it in, the financial advantage is gone. You see, he's doing it even in a more of a stealth manner, because nobody reads British news here. They're not following the ins and outs of what's going on in England, in France, in Australia, in all these places. But they affect us. Because if the NHS start to pay more, the British people suffer. But we suffer too as the drug prices overseas go up, and those people who have made a market out of going to overseas to get our drugs at a cheaper price than what the drug thugs sell it here, we again left holding the bag. People, understand this stuff. We have to be informed. They are spending orders of magnitude of dollars of money to keep us dumb, to keep us afraid of each other. That's their job in profit making. That is the economic system. When our brother called in and talked about, do you know what a K economy is? Yeah. And it's going to turn from a K economy to an I economy. What I mean by I economy is a dot at the top will be money and the stem will be zero. I mean, we have got to take over. We have got to wake up. We have got to invest in it's Giving Tuesday. KPFT and all these other networks that are out there telling truth and not playing commercials like the one that I played you that is fooling you. We have got to be, as Stadion said, we have got to be woke. Come on in, Don.
Yeah, hey, George Bush, back, I forget which term it was, first or second term, he initiated an HR bill that at the time told Medicare, the health companies, that they could no longer negotiate with foreign pharmaceutical companies. They were required to buy the drugs from here, American-made pharmaceuticals. The bill passed.
Yes,
that's what we've been dealing with ever since.
And let me tell you, because it. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Finish.
Well, I was just going to say that that's the precursor to where we are now.
My brother Don, you're absolutely right, and let me tell you, right? You're correct, and both parties are complicit. They're both owned by the pharmaceutical companies. That's why when Nancy Pelosi, go ahead.
Nobody tried to rescind that bill, and that includes Democrats.
Exactly. You're absolutely right, sir. You're absolutely right. And, Nancy Pelosi came out about saving drug prices by starting with 10 drugs and a whole ridiculous bunch of crap simply to ensure that the drug companies can continue to make a lot of money on our backs. Yeah. It was something that we developed.
I remember when the Americans used to be able to buy drugs online from Canada.
Yeah.
At a third of the cost.
Yeah.
And George Bush sent a group of congressmen to Canada and told them they had to shut it down.
Yeah, well,
or else there would be consequences.
Yeah, it is ridiculous. And again, what we point out here is that we do have agency, and our agency is we have to open our eyes, first of all, not fall for the crap. I don't know if you were here for the beginning of the show with the commercial that I played. We have to educate. I got to go, Don, but thank you for bringing that up. All right?
All right, no problem.
Thank you, brother. Anyway, folks, we are close to the end of the program. Tell your people, tell your folks Enlighten your folks civilly, whether they're Trumpists or otherwise. Enlighten them. There's nothing like education. And you know what? Most people don't like being taken advantage of, but they have to know that they were taken advantage of. So I'm going to give Mayanna and Jack a few moments to prepare before I go to them, so I don't do what I did to them yesterday. But I'm coming to you guys next. Anyway, folks, I want you to talk to your sphere of influence. Talk to them, educate them civilly, and keep doing it. Never stop. Mayanna.
I wanted to talk about race, but I'm hoping that I can hold that until tomorrow.
Okay.
Because Jack has something to say. So if I can just talk about that tomorrow.
Yes.
Yes. If you wish to be a true patriot who believes in democracy, you would refuse Medicare Advantage because of the dishonest way it is presented to the people and its alternative motive to fool the people into for-profit insurance designed to enrich the few at the expense of the many and pull money out of the Medicare trust fund that all workers pay for. Their modus operandi is privatize the profits for them and socialize the cost from you.
Absolutely. So you nailed it, folks. Look, let's all get smart together. Let's all make the change, and no despair. We can do it. We have started to do it. We will do it. Folks, love you all. Remember, the rest of the show is at politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. This is Giving Tuesday. Give. Support those of us that are doing this kind of work. Anyway, folks, you can email me directly, kpft@politicsdoneright.com, kpft@politicsdoneright.com. My name is Egberto Willies. This is Politics Done Right, and you guys know how I end this baby. I am what? Out! Support for this show, Politics Done Right, comes from politicsdoneright.com, publishers of How to Make America Utopia, Take Away the Economy from Those Who Rigged It. As I See It, Class Warfare, The Only Resort to Right-Wing Doom. It's Worth It, How to Talk to Your Right-Wing Relatives, Friends, and Neighbors, and other books written by Egberto Willies. Welcome to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Willies. This is a progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, progressive, conservative, or otherwise, you get to air your point of view. We are an independent media outlet that, unlike mainstream media beholden to corporations, we only owe allegiance to you.